working at Mercedes. I'm making good money. I can get a cool car, right? I'm gonna have a payment on a drift car like an idiot. A concrete wall is a little different than a tree at 100.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Even my dad was like, it seems like we're going slower than if you were like racing. And I'm like, because we are.
We are. The last Leadfoot event, there was a woman, and it was her 92nd birthday. And it was I pulled into the ride-along line, first ride out.
Drip and Drift.
Welcome to the Drip and Drift podcast. My name is Nick, aka Drip and Drift. And today we got Paul Olewski. Right? I said it wrong again.
It's fine. It's Otluski, but
Otluski.
It doesn't matter. It looks hard, so I don't. Really
it does. I was practicing it earlier. AKA Piner Drifts. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I've been a little on the back seat with the podcast, making other stuff, but I would always like reach out to people every week, like, you want to come on, you want to come on, and I kind of now like I just. If it's like a Florida drifter that's currently drifting, it's like, yo, come on. Like, or DM me, like, I'm about it. Because that's who I want to talk to, is Florida drifters that are, like, in the mix, drifting currently type of thing. So, I appreciate you coming by. And you've been drifting for a long time. Since 2004.
So, first event I ever drove was in November 2004. So, almost now... 21 years?
And that wasn't in Florida?
It was in Florida.
It was in Florida? What was that?
Oh, yeah. So it was, the first event I ever drove was at Hialeah Speedway in Miami, which that is now a Lowe's.
Interesting.
It was tore down. I mean, when I went to drive there, it was basically the junkiest track I've ever seen. Yeah. Still, then and still. Yeah. I've never been to a track that was, it was like a municipal baseball field in an inner city.
Okay.
Like, if you can imagine.
I've been to Hialeah, so
yeah.
I just don't picture a racetrack there, so.
Yeah, it was an oval that had no bank. It was a flat paved oval.
So like a track for track and field, like around a football field.
Except it had a figure 8 in the middle, but like I remember the big thing at the time was that if you could do the big turn. Yeah. Right, we're like, that guy can do the big turn. Yeah. It was because since there was no bank to it, if you screwed up, you just in the wall.
Okay, yeah, not fun. What were you driving back then?
Oh God, so I bought my first car when I was 14 because I was actually making pretty good money as working at a flea market, just under the table, right? And I bought my first car. Was a 1987 Nissan 200SX, so an S12. Yeah. So before the S13, and I got it was a SE V6, so the 5-lug V6, 5-speed, and I didn't know anything. Yeah. And I was like, I was watching Initial D. I learned about drifting in like 2001. I was in high school, and I'm like, I got to be like Takumi. Yeah. I got to get a car when I'm young, and I'm gonna illegally drive it up and down my road, and I'm gonna get really good, so that when I go to drive, I go to drift events, I'm gonna be really good. Well, that didn't really happen that way, and it didn't work out that way. And I bought it because I was like, well, I wanted an S13, but an S13 was gonna cost me $1,200. Still cheap. But
yeah, right. But for a 14-year-old.
For a 14-year-old. Or there was an S12 that was for sale, and I'm like, bro, this car's got a V6 in it instead of a 4-cylinder, and it looks kind of like an 8.6, and then I got some erroneous information that they came with the V6 models came with limited slips. They didn't. Internet
lies sometimes. Yeah.
Internet's undefeated, all right, as far as misinformation sometimes. And
for real.
So I bought that car, and I had it for a while, and then finally I kind of worked up to, I think the first event that I actually went to as a spectator was also in 04. It was in May of that year at Homestead. It was the Miami Falcon Drift Show-Off, which was really cool because it was a D1 driver search event.
Oh, cool.
So all the D1 guys were there. All the FD guys at the time, a bunch of them were there. Were like Vaughn Gittin, Calvin Vaughn. Well, no, Tanner wasn't driving there at that point.
At that time, okay.
At that time, Tanner
I'm thinking of those mid 2000s.
Yeah, Tanner came later. Actually, strangely enough, he didn't drive in the first year of FD, and so it was like Vaughn Gittin, Takayano, and then a lot of the Florida guys who later would go to Drive FD that didn't, at that time, but you had like Bill Sherman, Sean Love, Harry Travola, Ben Schwartz, a bunch of those guys. So it was like all the OG Florida people that were all there driving, Funk, So I was there as a spectator, and I remember, lying to people and saying like, oh, I would have been out driving, but I was getting my head's pouring. I was just making up dumb teenage things like you tell other people because you want to seem like, I would have been out there too. But later that year, I ended up
actually doing it,
driving at Hialeah Speedway. Went up there as a dumb 17-year-old. Didn't even bring extra tires because why would I?
Even as a 35-year-old, if I got new tires, sometimes I don't bring them to the track. Like, if I know I got a good set of Kendas, it's like, this will last me an OSW event.
Sure, I did that last event.
Exactly.
Thankfully I wasn't good enough to need rear tires by the end of the event. I drove the whole day, probably wore the fronts more than anything. Because open diff. So I drove that event. And then, I was going back to school, and I'm like, I'm a race car driver, I'm so cool, even though, boy, did I suck. I was really bad. But car was difficult. I will give him that. I'll give my younger self that. But then I drove again at Hialeah, I think one more time before they closed the track down. And then was at the very first OSW event that they did here in Florida, which that was 05. I had literally just moved to Kissimmee to go to Universal Technical Institute.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
my cousin graduated from there. He's doing well for himself, so
it's okay.
I think it's good if you apply yourself in those ways.
I feel like I learned all the same stuff that I learned in my auto tech class in high school.
True.
Without spending the money.
Yeah, that's expensive.
So, but I got a piece of paper out of it. It's cool. Hey. That I soon decided later that I hate being an auto mechanic, so I stopped doing that.
Yeah, him too. He's an aircraft mechanic now. He does planes now.
Yeah, so. I've heard that's a much better.
He stepped up from.
You get your AMP, gravy train. That.
Did you ever do CFRC then? You said Kissimmee. No?
Technically once.
Okay.
But so in 2008, I joined the military. I joined the Air Force, and they stationed me in South Carolina. And I had gotten my car up there, and I drove all the way down, like 6 hours, to go to CRFC when they first opened. Like when they didn't even have like the NOS pad at all. They still owned part of what is OKC. Okay. Because originally all the land that OKC's on was part of CRFC, and they sold it off.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they actually had a go-kart track that was just basically like a paved lot that they put like cones on. Yeah. Right? Well, CRC was running the early drift events on that lot. Oh. So I drove 6 hours down, went and drove, I think I did 3 laps and my radiator exploded. And then I spent the whole rest of the night getting a radiator. It's how I met Fellow, actually. True. Fellow was there, and I was like, oh, anybody got a BMW radiator? And he's like, yeah, man, I got one back at my house. It's up it's up in Sanford. We'll jump in the truck and we'll go get it. So then we go up there and spent the whole time driving up there to grab a radiator. We come back, and him and his buddies, I start trying to work on the car. He's like, nah, man, we got this. And then they just like thrashed on the car for like, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, and they had the radiator in, cooling in, bled, and then the gates were just about to close on the event, so I had to go. So I only drove those 3 laps, and then the whole rest of the time, I was either out of state or out of the country. True. So as soon as I got out of the military was February 2014, right as CRC closed. Mm-hmm.
I only went to a couple of their last few events, just as a spectator. And I've been at OKC a couple times for events as spectator, but I just never realized that they were that general location. Like
originally, right there. Yeah. Because like literally the lot next to OKC is CRFC. Now it's a junkyard.
Yeah. Huh. Wow. Well,
so
interesting.
My phone is going.
Was that a fart?
No, it's my phone.
Sounded like a
Here,
no, but the
let me
ringtone.
let me turn this off.
The ringtone.
Oh, I do that because then it's different than everybody else.
Yes.
Because everybody, so many people all have the same notification sounds.
Yeah.
So somebody's phone goes off and they go.
Everybody checks it. You're right. You're right.
So I changed it to something. I'm like, no one will pick that.
You're right. No one will. Dang. Well, so S12. Now you got BMW. You also got some other stuff. What made you get into that? What made you transition? I'm guessing you've had different cars through that process.
I had a lot of weird cars, but I've weirdly never owned an S13, 14, or 14. The default cars at the time never had one. I've always had weird shit. I started off with the S12. I dabbled around with I had an 85 Celica GT or GTS. So that was the last year the Celica was rear-wheel drive. I had one of those for a little while. I got given the car for free.
Oh, wow.
And then I had a Mark 1 Toyota Supra, the very first generation. That was more of a daily, but I did slide it around a little bit, really hard.
Yeah.
Makes no power. It's called a Supra, but it's slower than the Celica it's based on.
True.
And then after that, actually, I got my first E36. Bought that in 2007 because I was going to buy a 350Z. That's originally what I was going to do. 350Z at that time was around 15 grand.
Okay.
But I was like, I'm working at Mercedes. I'm making good money. I can get a cool car, right? I'm gonna have a payment on a drift car like an idiot, right? I know that now that I'm just like, God, that's so stupid. But, it was 20.
Yeah. You got to make those mistakes to learn and grow.
Right. I tell people
because everyone will tell you not to do that, and you're like, I can do it. Like
at the time, there was no one there to tell me to not do it. Like, no, I didn't ask anybody. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm smart. But then I was talking to Sean from SLR, and at the time SLR didn't exist. It was just my friend Sean who basically did a lot of weird, crazy car builds all the time where he was just like, as far as I know, I think he was like the first person to actually V8 swap an S chassis, an S13. Yeah. Except he never got it running, so no one ever actually saw it. But it was in the car. It was like 90% done.
Yeah.
And I remember that was in like 04.
The last 10%'s always.
Right, and it was such a cool car because there was no parts available at the time. So he either made everything or he adapted parts from like race cars.
That's sick.
Like it had Porsche 996 brakes on it. Like he had made a handbrake using a Brembo master cylinder, made the entire, like, that was the first hydro I'd ever seen.
That's sick. I always find that amazing when people can do that. Like,
yeah. Sean was... It was just like, man, this guy knows. He's
and
great,
fabrication in general. Like,
yeah, exactly. And it was like, I was very impressed with that. And then Sean was telling me that he's like, dude, don't get a Z. And I was like, why? And he's like, just get an E36. Now you got to understand, at the time when I bought that car, there was like, I don't know, less than a handful of people that drifted those cars in the country. Like, there wasn't almost anybody in the United States. There was like Datto. But then we're like, he's rich, so like, So of course, I buy the car, and oddly enough, Chelsea bought his first E36 at the same month that I bought my E36, unbeknownst to each other, and we bought nearly the exact same car. So he bought an M3, but I bought a 328 that had all the M3 stuff in it. So it had an M3 engine. Transmission, 323 LSD, and it had a bunch of track car parts on it. So it was like, It had coilovers, all that jazz. I bought it from a Golf Pro who used it as his track day car. So
cool.
So I bought that car because I was like, well, I'm making money, and plus it was cheaper than a Z. It was quite a bit cheaper than a Z, and way cheaper insurance too. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And and then the first time I tried to drive it, I realized that I had never driven a car that actually produces rear grip at all, and all the other cars I've been driving have basically been ice skates, and so I had to kind of relearn how to drive because most all of it was it's all semi-trailing arm rear suspension that basically just doesn't work.
Okay.
And with little 185 15 tires on it, and then I get this car and I'm like, oh man, dude, what the fuck? And it was like completely relearning to drive.
Yeah.
And then I've just kind of stuck with them since. I've had one other drift car that wasn't a BMW since, and it was a JZX 100 Chaser.
Okay.
Although I bought that car as a daily when I was in Germany, and I did take it to a couple drift events while I was there, but I mostly drove it around the Nürburgring and mountain roads and stuff, and didn't really do a lot of drifting when I was in Europe. So.
I'm guessing, was it just because you were there that you went to the Nürburgring, or like have you been wanting?
Oh no, I'd been wanting for a long time, ever since I first drove it in Gran Turismo. I think in GT4 when they had the Nürburgring in GT4. Like I used to just sit there and lap the ring all the time in Gran Turismo, and then when it came to Forza, then I was driving it in Forza, and I've done thousands of laps in those games before I ever drove it on the track.
You never got into other types of racing or other motorsports?
I'm always been interested in a lot of different types of motorsports. The first motorsport I was always the most interested in, even when I think I remember when I was like 8 years old, I was like, man, if I ever become a racing driver, I'm going to do that. And it was rally racing.
Dude, like, same.
Rally racing.
That's what first got me.
I started watching WRC when I was like, I think like 1997. And I was a kid, but at the time Speed Channel existed before Speed Vision before it became the NASCAR channel. Because even though it's called similar thing. But Speed Vision back in the day, in the 90s, used to show every kind of racing there was. It was air racing, it was rally racing, boats, pick your poison. It was on that channel. So I remember watching WRC and being like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then later it was like drifting was like, well, that's like rally racing, but I don't need a 12-point roll cage and a co-driver and an entire team to support it, and then like basically chancing writing my car off every corner.
Well,
I mean,
you know.
It's a little. A concrete wall is a little different than a tree at 100.
You're not wrong. Even my dad was like, it seems like we're going slower than if you were like racing, and I'm like, because we are.
We are.
your wheel speed's going faster, but
that's I get that question from people all the time. People are like, oh man, how fast are you going out there? I'm like 40.
Really?
Like,
it's not what my speedometer says, but
well, I mean, wheel speed's 90, but
yeah, dude, that's funny. So after doing the Nürburgring, did you want to like continue time? Like, were you time attacking there, or were you just enjoying it? Or
the way the Nürburgring works for the most part is most people, they drive on what's called a tourist day. So you rock up to the track in your car that you drove there, and then you just pay them. I think at the time, it was €28 a lap.
Okay.
So that would have been about $33 at the time. Right? It's a huge lap.
Yeah, it's huge,
So, and then basically, you don't gotta wear a helmet. There's no tech. There's no safety. They just assume that if your car can drive on the road, then you're good. Right? Then you just wave your thing at the stall. It takes it, opens up the gate, and you just go drive on the track.
Nice.
And they have some sort of rules as far as like everyone's kind of supposed to know, but most people, that are just going there the first time are not going to know. There's like an etiquette to it. Is that
like flag colors and stuff?
Well, no. Well, a little bit. Yeah. They have electronic flags there now. They didn't really when I was there, but now they have like actual signs with like flag colors. But at the time, it's basically, you kind of treat it like a public road a little bit, is that you're only allowed to pass on the left, right? No matter where, if you're going around turns or anything like that, you pass people on the left-hand side. And it's common courtesy that if you were allowing someone to pass, is you stay on the right-hand side of the road, and then you put your indicator to the right to acknowledge that they're there and that you're letting them by. And if there's a guy that's faster than you, just let him by. Like, don't sit here try to block him and race. Oh, I'm going to defend like it's a race. Some people do that, and it's really fucking annoying. I've gotten behind a few people that were just like, bro, get out of the way.
True. Dang. All right. That's interesting. I don't know if I'll. It's something cool that I've thought, but I have no urge to go there. It would be more Japan and stuff. But
honestly, I thought that myself, but I've been to Ebisu twice,
Right.
and if I was going to take a trip to go drive anywhere now, the one that I miss more is I miss the ring.
True.
Like I sit on my sim and I just lap the Nürburgring over and over and over again because it's so good, dude. Like it's as a road, it's like if you had a track that is just one long continuous fast mountain road.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that is pretty awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
And you can go there for the day, and you can pay like $100, get 5 laps, which 5 doesn't sound like much, but then you're like, okay, well each lap is, if you're going quick, still like around 9 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
that's a lot.
That's a long lap.
Yeah.
I mean, my old Chaser used to use 1/8 of a tank of gas every lap.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
That's a while.
So we'd go up there about every other weekend. When not during the winter, but like when it's nice-ish. So starting around May to about September, you can go pretty much every weekend.
Cool. Dang. Have you been anywhere? So Ebisu, Germany. Where else? Have you been anywhere else outside the U.S. for or for cars in general?
I was stationed in South Korea for like a year. I went to the F1 race there, the first F1 race that they did there in South Korea, and I went to a drift event while I was there as like kind of a photographer. South Korea kind of sucked as far as a station if you're into cars, because you're not allowed as a regular service member there to own a car. So if you can't have a car, it's like, dude, I saw so many cool mountain roads that were up there, like just full on straight toge, like Japanese, like I was on a bus, you know, we're going up this mountain, and I'm just like, God, I'm just blue balls right now. This place is, and I'm like, this isn't even far from where I live. Like, this is 20 minutes, dude. And
can I borrow your car?
There was only like 2 racetracks in the country when I was there. One was a go-kart track where they would drift at, and then the other one's called Everland Speedway. And Everland Speedway is actually owned by Samsung. Okay. Like about a third of the country.
I feel like I was gonna say.
Yeah, about a third of the country is owned by Samsung, and then the other 2/3 are owned by other big conglomerates.
Kia and Hyundai.
Well, Hyundai is Kia, so it's Kia, or it's Hyundai, Samsung, and Latte. Or Latte is one that you've probably never heard of. But funny enough, there's actually a Latte Mart here in Orlando. I found it by accident. It's up off of by 50.
Okay, by Bumby and 50?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know exactly what it is. I know exactly what it is.
It's a straight up Korean.
That's in dude, little.
I walked in there and I'm like, I'm in South Korea. And I was looking for some products in there, like stuff that I was like, oh man, I hope they have this. And they had the damn what is it? The melon soda that I've been looking for forever. But yeah, so like the whole year that I was in Korea, essentially I couldn't drive, so I was like, I'll get a camera. So I got a camera and I started doing like event photography and stuff. So
that's how the photography came about.
Yeah, it had to have something to do. And I was like, I'm gonna do car related stuff. So I started taking pictures of cars while I was there, and then I saved up while I was there to go to Ebisu the first time. So I was actually stationed in South Korea when I went to Ebisu the first time, because no brainer. It was basically a free flight. And
you're close.
And I'm in the time zone. Yeah. So easy to talk to Andy and Emily of Power Vehicles, organize getting a car bought. Because at the time when I went, the first time was like 2010. There wasn't really much information about like how to do it.
Yeah. There wasn't information on anything, I feel like.
No, not really. So it was Andy and Emily's website, Power Vehicles, was about the only thing that like kind of gave you a little bit of a breakdown, and I could kind of ask them questions email-wise. But it was really, really difficult to buy a car. Not because they were too expensive. They were actually really cheap. Like, I mean, I paid $1,800 for that Sefero that I had, which now if you try to buy a car through Power Vehicles that meets Ebisu's requirements, it's like 10 grand. Yeah. Like, easy. And I'm like, I paid almost nothing for that car in comparison. Right. And then they had information on their website about like, well, you should go to these train stations. And you're like, well, all right. So I went. The first time, I got on a plane, and I don't know. I ended up flying into Misawa up in the north. It's a Air Force base up in the northern part of Japan. But because the rotator for us that goes between them is basically free. So you just have these days that it goes, and I was like, okay. So but you get dropped off wherever it drops off. You don't get to pick which base you go to. So I was up in Misawa, which is way up north, almost up to Hokkaido, and then I had to figure out the train system. I walked out of the base, and I'm like, I have no idea where the train station is.
Stepping into the unknown.
I have no idea where I'm going. Do I walk? Where do I go? So I ended up going to this. There's a pizza joint that was outside of the base. And I was like, I'll get food. And then as I was in there, I met these women that were, I guess, wives of some of the military members there, some of the Air Force members. And as I was walking out, I just looked lost. And they were a lot older than me, and they were like, oh well, you look lost. Where are you trying to go? And I was like, well, I'm trying to figure out how to get a cab to the train station. They're like, oh, we're going to that train. We're going right by there. Here, jump in our car. And then they took me, which was great, a free trip. I didn't have to pay for that. Yeah. And then I get to the train station. I had to figure that out. And the attendant who I was trying to buy bullet train tickets for got very angry at me because I screwed it up. Because it was in English, but it didn't help. Yeah. It didn't make any sense. Right. I ended up with 2 tickets, and I was supposed to get 3, apparently. And then I'm trying to scan those in, and then this guy comes over, and he's just like, and I think he's trying to scam me, because he's trying to make me put in another $40 in the machine. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So, anyway, the train system was, I got to where I needed to go.
Yeah.
Having absolutely no clue. So, it's easy enough if I could do it. But...
That's dope, though.
But yeah, I think I would like to go back to Germany and drive the Ring.
Yeah.
One, it's a lot cheaper.
True.
To do that than to go back to Ebisu and try to drive it. Ebisu's 100% worth it. Yeah. I 100% agree with going there as like a bucket list thing. It's just, right now, it's just,
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that's why they started doing the rentals and stuff as well once prices of the cars started going up.
Yeah, I started seeing those rentals and I was like, oh, okay, I might go back. That's actually a pretty good deal. And then when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that rental is the same cost as what I paid for a car.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still cheaper than buying one now.
It's still cheaper than buying one.
Yeah. And then what do you do? Like, if you do buy one over there, you either keep it there and store it there to go back, or you ship it, or... That's what
I did the first time. So when I was done with the first event, I just stored the car there. You pay the track. Now, thankfully, they kind of just basically make it to where you just pay them once a year.
Okay.
But it was like, at the time, I don't know what it is now, but at the time it was about $60 a month to just open air store the car. Now, it's not in a garage or nothing. It's literally just in a parking lot.
Yeah.
But I did that because there was almost a 2-year gap between the first time I went, the second time. So when I paid for storage, it was steep, but it was like, but it was worth it to not have to buy another car,
right?
So then I ended up
spent that money again.
I ended up going the second time, and then when I got done at the second time, the car was so haggard and beat up and almost destroyed at that point to where I just sold it for parts. There was an Australian guy there that did importation stuff, and I was sitting there like, Andy and Emily aren't going to buy this thing back because it is trashed. And then they were like, "Oh, go talk to this guy," and he's like, "So all right, mate, engine still work?" And I was like, "Yeah, the RB in it's still good." And he's like, "Oh, I'll give you this for it." And I was like, "Okay, it's better than me having to pay to destroy it, because I was looking at it was going to cost me money." Another $400 to dispose of the car. Oh. So, and this guy gave me $400 for the car. So I was like, over the moon, hell yeah.
Hey. Yeah. Take it back or whatever.
I kind of wish it was still there and I still had it. But at the same time, I'm like, I would love to. I was gonna go again when I was broke. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, and then you got to fix that and do all that. Well, speaking about the camera, so you got into it in Korea and then just continued it when you came back, shooting cars and everything?
I mainly did it when I was in Korea and Germany. I had a couple a couple sort of article things that got made for, I think for State of Stance. I covered the Nürburgring 24 Hour while I was there, and then I've had some of my stuff get used by like SPL Parts and a few other companies that used them for like advertisements. And I mean, I got pretty good at it pretty quickly, but mainly just because the way that I research things. Full on autist mode into something.
Yeah. You learned how to learn things. Like, how to learn.
It becomes an obsession for like a period of time where all I can focus on is the one thing, and it becomes like a problem because then I don't sleep. I have to learn everything until I get bored. Once I get bored, then I can sleep.
Yeah. It's mine isn't as bad, but I am similar. Just watching, consuming everything about that thing. And my most recent thing doing that was tinting. And now after next summer, I'm trying to leave my job and go full time doing that.
Hell yeah. I have one of my good friends. He's got a business there that he started same way. Like he started doing it as like a side gig, and then now it's his business.
Yeah. And over this past summer, I made more in 3 days than I do in 2 weeks. And obviously it's not going to happen every week, but like I could make that happen
Right.
And once I saw that, I was like, okay.
No,
I agreed to come back this year, but next summer.
I did the same thing. My current career field is essentially because I bought a TIG welder because I didn't want to. I was too cheap to take stuff to have people do it. So I was like, well, I'm going to buy a machine. I'm going to learn to do it. Yeah. And then now that's what I do.
Cool.
I'm a full-time welder at my job. So
true. Is it more auto or more like commercial custom welding?
No. I do guns.
Yeah. Oh no.
Like I'm one of like very few people that do what I do in the country. Like it's a very niche job, and as kind of by default, unfortunately, it's like I hate saying this but it's pretty much true. Is for the exact thing that I do, I'm like the best in the country at it.
Sick.
And I hate being like brag thing, but like it's because there's like 7 people that do it, and I just happen to be better than them.
True. What'd you say? What?
So I build. I take antique guns that have been demilled, chopped apart when they were imported. So they have to be legally imported in many different pieces. Yeah. It looks like a pile of scrap. And then I take those and make them into a functioning firearm.
Wow.
And try to make it look like nothing happened.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So.
And I could see how there's only a couple people.
Very few people that actually do that as a profession, as a full-time thing.
Sick.
So.
Dang. Well, I want to continue on that conversation, I guess, later.
No. It's the whole reason why I have 3 different Instagram pages was because I originally had the one where it had all the gun content on it, and I got shadow banned really quick, and then like it sat at the same. I get like 12 views every video, and I'm like, dude, I'm doing cool stuff. Yeah. I don't understand, like.
Yeah, dude.
I'm doing cool stuff, and then,
that happened with me in the cars on TikTok. Like it was. Dangerous activity. I'm like, it's on a track. I'm wearing a helmet. Like, stupid.
Yeah. See, like, when I started the drift Instagram like earlier this year, I started that, and I'm like, I was already surpassed by other, even though I was posting a lot of the same stuff, just no gun stuff.
Yeah.
And that one basically surpassed my regular page, which had 900 posts or whatever on it. And I had 40 posts on the other page, and it was already well beyond. So I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Dang. Well, talking about we were saying earlier about the unconventional cars, kind of like you wanted something that not many people had. Do you have any ideas currently for like unconventional drift builds or cars that?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think I'm a good person to take advice on, because usually like the BMW things worked out, and BMWs, I mean, I said this back in like 2007 when I started driving them, and I was like, oh man, dude, these are the next thing.
Yeah.
Like these are going to be the next thing. And I said it for years and years and years, and people are like, what are you talking about? You know, no, they're not. It's a BMW. You just really like those cars. Nobody else is going to just make them. They're not going to take over. Guess what now?
Yeah.
Right? So they basically, because they're cheap, and S chassis are crazy expensive now, and then 350Zs are starting to go up now. They were really cheap for a while, but they're starting to go up. Yeah. So now the entry level car that you could buy for $2,000 is an E46. You know, versus now people realized, oh yeah, 350Z is the easy button. So now those are going up now. Yep. So, but as far as new or unconventional cars that I think would be good, I mean, we were talking about it before this whole thing, is I honestly think the Alfa Romeo Giulias are going to be pretty good because honestly, they're coming down in price to the point to where you can buy them, you can find a kind of, you know, like a 2017 4-cylinder car for about $8,000.
Yeah,
which
that's not
bad for like a pretty new car.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And people are going to be afraid of them because they're Italian, which I get. But the engine in it, they make about 300 horsepower. It's a turbo 4-cylinder. You can get aftermarket parts to get them up to about 380 wheel with just an upgraded turbo and a tune, right? And then the biggest problem with them is that they're all automatic, so the 8 HP. But thankfully, the transmission in it is an 8 HP, so you can do the turbo lambic controller in it, and then you can... The biggest thing that I want to figure out on it, and I don't know yet, is it's brake-by-wire.
Okay.
So there is no connection with the brake pedal and the actual wheels and tires. So you have to disable all the nannies electronically. But I think that means, since it can actuate all the brakes by themselves, is that I want to figure out how to program a handbrake that's like basically like a sim brake, right, into it so that it actuates the rear
USB
wheels.
Port into
but then at that point it's like you don't got to worry about dual caliper, you don't got to worry, you know. And
that's an interesting thought.
It's kind of neat
for sure. I have a buddy that works at Ford that's been talking about the EcoBoost that he was telling me yesterday. He's like, dude, that's what I think. Like, people are going to start more and more swaps with. Obviously, it's been done, but
I was literally
he's like,
on
they're
the way
so
here.
cheap. Like,
I was on the way here talking to a friend of mine about the 2.3 and the 2.0 EcoBoost as a swap. Like, I was on the phone with him on the way here, so it's funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah. What was he saying?
Well, so I would talk about how much I don't like S12s. I found one on Marketplace that looks exactly like my first car. That's for sale for like $3,000. It's the same model, everything. It's a V6 5-lug, and funny enough, has the same miles. And I was like, talk so much shit about these cars.
Yeah, that'd be stupid, but
and then I go buy one, but then it's like the old man nostalgia in me, where I'm like, I want my high school car.
Yeah, dude.
And it looks exactly the same. And I'm like, oh, even though I know it's a hunk of crap and I don't want it, but like I do kind of want it. And then we were talking about it. I was like, wow, I'd take the V6 out. I'd take that out and put something else in it, probably like a turbo 4-cylinder. And then my buddy's just like, you should do an EcoBoost. And I'm like, really? Like, he's like, yeah, no, they're really cheap. They're lightweight. They make good power. Plus, I mean, he's like, look at Chelsea's car. His Fox body is like awesome. And I was like, yeah, you know, you're right.
You make a point.
Not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah, and he was telling me that the like doing a case swap, how expensive it is, and like everyone's like, oh, it should be cheap. Like, you think case swaps would be cheap, and
you think the motors are cheap,
right?
But the swap isn't.
Which is what I think about the EcoBoost in that sense as well, like, or just any swap, I guess, in general. Like,
well, it's LS swaps. The LS
like you
is
said,
the cheapest
that
part.
last 10%.
The LS is the cheapest part of the swap.
Yeah.
You know, like you can buy a 5.3 iron block motor for $800, and then the swap's going to still cost you $7,000.
Yeah.
And that's if you're doing it cheap.
Yeah. So many of these I've asked, like JZ or LS type of thing, and I've come to find they're all they're all good. You can make them all good. It's what you want. Yeah. They're all expensive. Like,
yeah, it's like I mean, I guess I said that I didn't really want to talk about the cappuccino, but it fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Bring it in. So I bought a cappuccino that had a blown motor.
Okay.
I've always wanted a cappuccino. Yeah. Like, I first saw one in Gran Turismo 2 in like '99, and I was just like, "What's a little Miata? That's really cool." And so I used to race a whole bunch in Gran Turismo 2 with a cappuccino that had like nitrous or whatever. But I've always wanted one, and then when I got a chance, when I saw one that had kind of like a blown up motor, because I was like, I was like, yeah, I want to swap one of those for something stupid. So I bought it. I shouldn't have bought it. I've had it for years now at this point, and I'm working towards to where I have a situation where I can actually have space to tear into it and actually do what I want to do with it. But needless to say, it's getting a motorcycle engine.
Sick.
But it's not a Hayabusa. Okay. You know, most of the ones that have motorcycle swaps, they're all GSX 1300, which, I mean, it's great. Same manufacturer, makes sense. It's a big bike motor, makes good power. Then I was like, I want a bigger bike motor. Like a bike motor that I don't have to cut the whole firewall in order to fit the engine in. Because strangely enough, with a Hayabusa motor, you pretty much have to cut the whole passenger side of the firewall because the motor's leaned over like this and it completely doesn't fit.
Interesting.
So I was like, well, what big bike motors? And then Sean, of course, I actually only just realized this recently that he was the one that came up with the idea and that I was thinking I came up with it. So I want to give Sean credit. Sean from SLR, yes, it was your idea. He's giving me shit about it on the phone the other day. He was like, well, you know, Triumph made this really like big 3-cylinder, and I was like, really? So then I looked it up, and it's from a bike called the Rocket 3. And at the time when it was made, it was the largest motorcycle engine ever made. It is a 2.3 liter, 3-cylinder. And so the cylinders are the same size as like an LS2, like displacement, but there's only 3 of them. But it sits in the bike completely vertically, longitudinal, shaft drive out the back of the transmission, and it is individual throttle bodies, fuel injected, dry sump, and sequential transmission, right? All in the same motor.
Yeah, and it's a drive shaft, so you could figure something like fabricate a drive shaft for it.
Well, you know, that's what I thought, but doing more research, it's a little bit more complicated than that. But I'm like, okay, well, what end? And also, funny enough, when I measure the motor out, it's only a half an inch longer than the Cappuccino engine.
It's a lot of work.
Like, it basically fits right in the engine bay. Like,
sick.
Exactly behind, and it's still a front mid-engine.
Are they hard to find? Are they easy to source? Or?
The bikes?
Yeah. I've never even heard of those.
No, it looked like a Harley.
Okay.
Like
that's probably I like sport bikes. So.
If you saw one, you going by, you probably wouldn't think anything of it because it just looks like a Harley. Like it doesn't look like anything special, but it's a big motor and it makes like, I think they're like 160 horsepower, like 170 foot-pounds of torque. So like a lot of torque for a bike motor.
Yeah.
And the thing that's funny about them is that it's like the most understressed motor too. Like it is not working hard at all to make that power. There's guys that drag race those bikes. Oh, holy crap! Some of the modifications that guys do. There's dudes that are making 500 horsepower of that engine. Damn. Like they're putting boost into them. There's a guy that has a supercharged one that he does drags. It's like a 7-second quarter with this bike because it's like 562 horsepower, and it's nuts. It's like much. This is a 3-cylinder.
Yeah,
like
that's sick.
And they sound weird too because I mean, but the Cappuccino engine originally is a 3-cylinder. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. I'm putting a 3-cylinder in it. I'm taking a turbo 3 out and putting a naturally aspirated 3. But it won't sound like anything else. And it seems like it's actually really well sorted to fit in the car and to do all the things. I have a lot. The only reason it's not in there and it's not sitting there is I have a lot of rust repair to do on that car that I'm working through kind of slow.
Yeah.
Because the whole underside of that thing is just complete. I mean, I didn't know that when I bought it. But, you know, it's work. But when I took the motor out of the cap, like the factory engine is so small and the transmission's so small that you almost have to you'd have to be there. I can pick up the engine by itself and just fling it around my shop. So it doesn't weigh anything.
Yeah. And
it's only this long. It's only this long. Like from the back to the front, that long. The transmission weighs 40 pounds. It's a 5-speed manual transmission, weighs 40 pounds.
Just curl it.
It literally, no problem.
That's awesome. Dang, that will be cool to see. I'm looking forward.
In 10 years when it's done.
Hey, I'll be around. How'd judging come about? How'd you get into that?
So I've kind of done a little bit of everything, like in the sport.
Yeah.
So obviously started off as a driver. I've done media, and then I did do spotting for a couple Pro-Am teams, Nopi, that sort of thing, and then I got a chance to spot for Kelsey. She was looking for a spotter, and I was just threw my hand up, pick me. I did that for a couple years, and while I was spotting for her, one of the judges at USDC quit, and they needed an extra person. So Chris, the guy who runs USDC,
I've had him on.
Yeah. Chris knew me from back in the day because we drove together back in county line days.
Yeah,
so, and then he was asking Noel, one of the other judges. He was like, "Well, who do you think?" And then Noel, I've known since forever too, back when he actually used to drive. And he was like, "Why don't you get Piner?" I was like, "Oh, okay." And so he calls me one day. I went at work, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it." Cool. And been doing that 3 years now. So.
Yeah. Compared to the other things you've done in drifting, besides actually driving, what do you like it the best, or? You've doing it.
Driving's obviously the best.
Right. That's why I pushed it to the side. Besides driving.
Driving's obviously the best.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like judging. It's not the most popular thing.
Yeah.
You get a lot of people that usually at the end of the event, or somebody's going to be mad at you.
Well, of course.
There's always going to be somebody. So it's kind of that doesn't feel good, but at the same time, it's it's going to happen. I know it. But I think I really enjoyed more was organizing and running those events at Auburndale. That was a lot of fun because outside of driving, I had a really good time with that because, since I had a little bit of control over we're gonna do this today, and I try to come up with themes and kind of come up with names and stuff for the different events.
That's always fun.
Yeah, I had to rack my brain on those. I'm not good at coming up with names, so there would always be some stupid pun. I tried to make it a big thing, but Auburndale kind of failed because we just weren't getting driver count. We had a couple big events that a lot of people showed up, and we weren't prepared for how many people showed up. Sure. And then they had a bad time because we were expecting our normal 20, 30 drivers, and then we had 50, and we're and then we didn't have enough staff. Those particular ones, it was Drift HQ came out for one.
True.
And I think that kind of soured a lot of people that were brand new that had never come there.
Yeah.
And that event ran bad, and I will 100% take. But I didn't know that many people were going to show up. Yeah. So, it's not like I planned ahead for it.
You wouldn't want to organize other events? Or anything?
I've wanted to start doing them at Auburndale again, just because of the fact that we have a lot more consistent drivers that are driving all the time now than we did, say, 2016 and 17, for 18, because I think the last year that we did it was in 2019. It was actually before COVID. And then, of course, we weren't going to run any events in 2020. But now there's so many people. I go out to Leadfoot, and I'm just like, man, there's 120 drivers here. Yeah. That's wild. And then OSW is always popping. Always popping.
Even I went to Showtime over the summer, and I figured it would be much smaller and not as many people, but it was still a line. The line was long to get on track.
Yeah, you go to any random drift day now, and it's not like it used to be. Sometimes you'd go to an event even OSW. I remember when OSW would get 20 drivers.
Yeah, not even that long. I've been drifting since 2020, and through this 5 years, I've seen people come and go, come after me and leave before me, and then also those first couple years, 2020, 2021, 2022, and a regular OSW Saturday event, 30 people, and now I'm guessing tomorrow is going to be packed.
Could be wild. Yeah. I'm not I'm not. I haven't driven an OSW event in a while, but like I mean, actually, the last time I drove there was actually part of the reason I don't drive there, because there were so many people to the point where I think I was there all day and I did 6 laps and I was like,
really? In A class?
I was like, I had just gotten my current M3.
Okay.
So I think they did put me in A, but like I don't remember, but I just remember I was there that day and there was like 150 drivers that particular event, and then I was like, damn it, this is an hour and a half drive for me. I got to pay tolls the whole way. The traffic is awful.
You got a trailer, so it's not normal tolls in the car.
No, so then I'm like,
expensive
tolls. Is it worth it to drive out here for a skid pad? And then since I kind of just stuck to driving Sebring, because I was like, yeah, this is more expensive, but I get to drive a lot more.
Yeah.
The tire wear is a little worse, but it's a faster track where like both layouts are, I mean, they're both third gear entries.
Yeah.
And
I've only done I always confuse 15 and 16.
So 15, 16's on the back, 17's on the front. So the 17 is where it's under the bridge.
Okay, yeah. So I've done 15, not 16, 17. But it was fun. But that was a long line. I think the being A class, though, at least for OSW, that happened this year for me, and the events I've gone to, I do move, like, compared to B and C class, like, you move through. It's nice.
It's kind of like the Leadfoot if you're one of the ride-along drivers.
Yeah.
The ride-along line moves fast.
That's good to know. Well, like, that's how, the way you've been feeling about OSW, that's how I feel about Leadfoot. Like, I've been wanting to go. I have friends that go out there. It looks fun. I'm like, am I going to make that drive for a skid pad? But I guess just for once, I'll definitely do it to say that I've done it.
Well, see, now they're starting to do driver's caps. So I was was making that very well known to them, because it was every event that I went to, there was more people.
Yeah.
I was like, this is unsustainable. You can't
keep.
The biggest thing was the safety aspect of the fact that the way that they have coming off you have to drive basically down the side of the drag strip.
Yeah.
And people were getting backed up into that line, so when you came off track, you couldn't even get back to your pit. So like if you had a problem with your car, or say like, your car's dead, or somebody, or you have an issue or something, you can't really reliably get off the track because you're backed up into that lane, and you have to sit there and wait for the actual drift lane to move to where you can keep going. Like that's when it becomes a problem. That's where you need to have some sort of driver.
It could become dangerous.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, honestly, you don't even need to cap it at some crazy low amount. You can do 100.
Yeah.
100 would still, I mean, I drove there when there was about 100, and it was still manageable. But when there was 120, 125 drivers, it was like, okay, that's too much.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So I think now they're trying to cap it at 80.
True. Okay.
So 80 is fine.
Yeah.
I drove an event there where it was 80, and not a big deal.
True. What's next for you? Any plans in drifting? I know obviously the Cappuccino, but any tracks you want to go to?
Cappuccino's not going to be
right.
Yeah, it's not going to be a drift car either. So
okay, all right.
It's just a dumb. It's a dumb.
Cool
thing.
build.
It's a dumb thing.
It's not dumb. It's cool.
No, it's dumb because I ended up driving a stock Cappuccino, and then I was like immediately terrified because I was like, this actually feels really good.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put 3 times as much power in this. I am suddenly very scared. Why am I doing this? But so like future, I don't know. I don't really think about that. Like,
no events this year that you're planning on going to?
Well, all the Fuel Fest events that are in Florida.
Yeah.
Because why not? Like, if they do Tampa again, I hope it's better. I hope it's like the line and everything moves a little better, because that was pretty rough. But it was their first time in that.
I wasn't a fan of that figure 80. Those grates there.
Yeah.
So at least West Palm, you could kind of dodge that big one, but there it was like I'd miss one and then hit a pothole, and then I'd try to dodge that pothole and then hit a grate, and then.
I actually kind of liked it because the tire wear was like nothing.
Yes.
I did like that.
Yes.
But it was a very short course, and the potholes were really bad.
Yeah, like Harlem broke a subframe, and like I know a couple of people lost side skirts or bumpers because of those bumps and grates there.
That's bad. Like a subframe. Oof.
Yeah. It was either a subframe or like part of like Yeah, like where you put the wheel, like the spare wheel in the trunk.
Oh, yeah.
Like you could see it cracked like through the floor pan type of thing.
What kind of car?
It was a E46.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a subframe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, subframe things, yeah. No, that's what I was going to say. It was like, it has to be that. 'Cause, like, it can't be. Like, I've done a bunch of those repairs for people because, like, I'm familiar with the cars and then I weld, so
ipso facto,
ipso facto. Yeah. So, yeah, they're it's not as big a deal as everybody says it thinks it is, but it also is like not a small deal either.
Yeah.
Like,
things can happen.
Yeah, I think it's like something that gets the subframe thing gets blown out of proportion, but at the same time, like, it's not that hard to fix.
Yeah.
It just sounds like it is. It's like, okay, you drop the subframe out. I can have the subframe out of one of those cars, the whole suspension and everything, you just drop it all at one unit.
True.
And you bring it, I can get it down in 35 minutes less.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like, okay, clean up, do a little bit of grinding, kind of like get the paint off of it, and then stick the plates up there, do a good job welding them in, put it back in, like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, well.
So.
True. Okay. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but people make it sound like it's a really big deal.
Yeah, that's all I've heard. That's what, like, has kind of kept me away from BMW.
I think it's more intimidation than anything. And then also, I mean, well, if you're not like a good welder, like have experience, welding overhead underneath a car can be pretty intimidating and isn't always the easiest for most people. I mean, there's a trick to it, but like if you can do overhead, then it's not that big deal.
Yeah.
Like,
true.
Oh.
Nice. Was there anything else you want to touch on or talk about before we close?
I mean, the only thing that I keep thinking in my head, and it's literally just a pie in the sky thing that I would love to see done. I mean, it's like right now we have so many cars, so many drivers in the States, so many people that drive on a regular basis, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, the guys at Driven Luck just bought a piece of land and literally put a track on it, and I'm like, I know it sounds stupid, but it's like, could we like crowdfund a Mayhem?
It doesn't, dude. That's honestly like my future plans and goals is just to get like 10 acres and build a crazy little driveway that me and the boys not even have a track that like invite the world over, but if it gets to that, it gets to that. But just that I could have some homies over.
There's a guy in Winter Haven that's not far from where I work that his whole driveway is a go-kart track.
Sick.
Like he literally...
That's what
he didn't get a permit for a track.
Yeah.
He got a permit for a driveway.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want. Like, just some windy driveway.
It's a driveway with FIA curbing.
That's sick.
Yeah, you can look it up on Google. Yeah. On Google, it's pretty sick. I'm always like, if that house ever goes up for sale, I'm buying that house.
Dude, well, yeah, let's get some crowdfunding, guys. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like I have to do it, where I have to be the guy that's going to get all the flack for, let me do a GoFundMe for I want to build a racetrack. Like, because there's the whole thing of like, okay, so if you want to do this thing, you have to decide that who's going to be the face of this thing. Nobody's necessarily going to think I'm going to do it, but like if you get like Adam or you have like Taylor or somebody that's like a big YouTube person, they could get money from people that'll literally never drive the track, but just because they're like, oh, I want to help you. You know? So it's like, I don't think I'm effectively a good person to be like, oh yeah, this is the campaign that I'm going to go on, because, I mean, who am I, right? But, somebody that has some sort of like big notoriety, could easily just go, all right, they don't even have to use their money. They could just promote it as like a thing. Yeah. And the problem that really runs into is that if you crowdfund a racetrack, like how do you then structure the racetrack after it's built? Like, okay, so who's going to work there? How many people are going to have access to it? Like, do you have a membership? Are you charging like regular fees? Because, I mean, I see this a lot with gun clubs. Right, because that's kind of a model that works, or like you see those motorsport country clubs, right? Where
the Enclave or whatever is there.
So there's the Enclave, and then there's a new one getting built in Port St. Lucie called P1. Now that one I'm excited for because they actually will have a drift track. They are actually building a dedicated drift track.
Is that the West Coast?
East Coast.
That's East.
East Coast. So basically, south of Palm Harbor, south of it's north of Stewart, south of Palm Harbor.
Okay.
Right? So it's kind of in between there.
Yeah.
But they're building, they got like a 400-acre plot of land where they're building 2 road courses. They're building a off-road track, a kart track, and a drift track. It's brand new. They just broke ground like earlier this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's mainly, they're not really pushing the drifting thing because their main focus is they're building a members side of the track where they have
their focus is money.
Well, you're talking about this facility. When you look at the map, is like that's a $200 million.
400 acres.
That's a $200 million facility.
Yeah.
Right, to have built. So you have to fund it somewhere.
Yeah.
But I had one of the guys that works there. He's a Pro-Am driver. Right, like he's one of the main dudes that I think he runs the Instagram page for them and everything like that. And he's the one that's getting them the cross carts, and so he's pushed pretty hard about making sure that we've got a spot, and that also that one of the road courses we might be able to get to, replace PBIR with a little bit, So I don't know about the road courses, but I do know that we're getting a dedicated drift track, and he's also talked about the kart track also being an option.
Yeah, as it should be.
So I'm beyond stoked about that.
That would be sick.
Because
that's great, man. Because you always hear tracks closing down, and like there's still tracks opening too, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame. I mean, I miss PBIR a lot. Yeah. PBIR was really fun. If you never got a chance to drive it,
I only got to drive one time the goat kart track in a rented Z.
Oh yeah, I did that too.
And it was the last event that they had for the go kart track.
Yeah.
But besides that, I never got to drive the big one. I just got to ride along, which that was insane because I like being in control, and that's why I'm a driver.
Oh no, every driver's a bad passenger.
Bro, that was a little much for me, but amazing. So
it's one of the hardest things when you're trying to teach somebody like how to drift is that you're in the passenger seat and you're just like, just let me do it.
Yeah. Give me the wheel.
You're like, I'm frustrated watching you.
For real.
No, but I like teaching people, but it's the same internal struggle the whole time. Or then when you're riding with somebody that even though you know that they're good, you're in your head as a driver. If you're not in control, you got that. I know how this can fuck up.
Right.
I know where this goes. Oh my god.
And like, I would have done this, but now we're doing this.
And then when they nail it, you're like, okay, I shut up.
Good thing I didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything because I don't want to be a dick. Yeah, it's hard being a passenger. If you're already a driver. I don't know all the like the spectators and stuff that just jump in with people that say like Leadfoot or Fuel Fest or anything like that, and then they come out and they're like, oh, I had a great time, and I'm like, dude, if I was in my passenger seat, I would be probably like sweating bullets the entire time going, ooh!
Yeah. But it is funny seeing now that has become my favorite part. Now that I got a cage this year, is taking the ride like I did 16 ride-alongs at Clean Culture in West Palm. Yeah. And dude, like just all of them were just like, oh my god, afterwards.
Dude, so great.
It makes me feel so nice and good.
Well, it's like Leadfoot, man. Or not Leadfoot, but I mean, I do the ride-alongs at Leadfoot every time, but like I do them at I did them at Fuel Fest. In West Palm at Fuel Fest, I think I took 33 people, wow. Right? And that was, I mean, it's just great though. Like everybody gets out of the car, they're happy. I feel like I have like an audience in the car, so it makes me drive harder.
Well, and it's funny too because I have like my sticker Drip and Drift there, and some of them were taking videos and pictures, and I'm like, yo, if you like tag me in there, and all like. I got quite a bit of followers from that day from all the people that were like, dude, thank you for taking me, and it's like. It's all worth it,
No, for sure. I mean, I did the same thing in my car when I realized I was doing all these ride-along events. I'm like, I gotta get a sticker. As much as cringy as those Instagram like name stickers are, I'll put one on my car.
Now they're all over my car.
But now that made a difference. People are like, oh, that's yours. And they take a picture. I'm like, now I don't even have to try to spell it to you.
Right.
It's great.
Biner Drift! Like, you can't hear with the helmets on.
Yeah, I think, was it the last Leadfoot event, there was a woman, she had it was her 92nd birthday. And it was I pulled into the ride-along line, first ride out, and they're like, hey man, so I got a young lady who wants to go for a ride with you. She just had her 92nd birthday, and for her 91st birthday, she jumped out of an airplane. So she wants to go in the car, and I'm like,
sick.
Hell yeah, let's do this. So she gets in the car, and she's just like, all right, I want to see you do something cool. I was like, I'll try to do something cool. So then we go out. It was the first run. I think I ran over some cones or so. I went too deep into the first turn because I was like, all right, I'll show you. And then I screwed up a little bit, but otherwise it was okay running. I got done at the end. And I was like, hi, how was that? She was like, that was great. And I'm like, is that good? I guess she got, because I could barely hear her.
Yeah.
She's in a helmet. But I was like, man, it's so funny. Like the first lap out of the day, I get to take somebody who's.
That is, wow, I've never seen.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. That's
actually
amazing. As
it turns out, apparently I'm friends with one of her family members or something that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
But, I didn't know that. But later I got a message from them where they were like, "Oh, thank you so much for taking Graham for." And I was like, "Wow, I didn't know you guys were."
Yeah.
Okay, it was pretty random. And then you get lots of people that just jump in the car, and she's like, "Oh, where are you from?" And they're like, "Oh, from Lakeland." And I'm like, "I live in Lakeland. I've never met you."
Yeah, small world. Oh man, well, dude, it's been great talking to you, dude. I want to talk to you about the guns and stuff after this. So.
Oh yeah. No.
I appreciate you coming on. Drop a thumbs up and drop a comment below, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Peace.